அதில் போய் பார்க்கணும் இன்னைக்கு. the amount that is being transferred. So when he click here to start, when he submits the when he's clicking on the button to start playing the game, the form is submitted to EDU Bank as highlighted below. You look here, rather than playing the game, he is just redirecting the page to the particular bank account with his account number and the amount. So the third icon shows the page source HTML as default, taking the account number as a pre-coded value. So he hard-coded that particular value and he is giving the amount that needs to be transferred. So why did this happen? So the main reason for this malicious action was that EDU bank server could not distinguish from the which tab the request is coming from. So if the particular bank is aware that bank website is aware that it is coming from the legitimate bank website, then he would have not taken the request. So the first flaw here is the bank server was not able to distinguish from where the request is coming from. Is it from the legitimate user or a legitimate web URL or some other different one? There is no authentication before the execution of the transaction. So if there is going to be any transaction, there should be some authentication needs to be done. So nowadays, even if you logged into your mobile banking or net banking, you need to, whenever you're performing a transaction, like you're sending the money to your friend or you're depositing some money, you might be getting some OTPs or you have to give the your transaction pin or the to the particular website to do the perform the transaction. So the weak web app website was able to submit the forged request to the EDU bank, hence resulting in the cross-site request forgery. So this is one of the type of the cross-site, using the cross-site and able to do the forgery. So the mitigation now, user should be cautious about the links that is being provided in the forwarded mails. So you should not click any, even when you're doing your college or uh, even when you're being recruited in a company and working as an employee in that particular company, you should not click any URLs that is coming from the website unless you are very much sure that it is being sent by the correct user or not. And also you should also should not download any attachments that is being sent in the URLs or in the emails. Developers must use the multi-authentication method like OTPs to perform any transaction. So in that example that we discussed, if they have the second level of authentication, that there is a OTP one-time password that is being sent to the mobile number of the account holder, and it is being the OTP is provided to perform the transaction, then the deposit would have not happened. So in this case, if the OTP was required to transfer the funds, the transaction might not have gone through. So these are the some of the things that can happen if you're not having the proper developing the web application properly. So the cross-site request forgery is something related to the cross-site scripting. Now we'll go to the insecure deserialization. So before we are learning what is insecure deserialization vulnerability, let's try to understand what is serialization and deserialization. So serialization is the process which converts the object into byte stream that can be easily stored and transmitted in a textual form. Whereas the reverse of the serialization, that is creating an object from the byte stream, is termed as a deserialization. And insecure deserialization vulnerability occurs when the application accepts the untrusted input. So whenever you're developing the web application, it is accepting the untrusted input and deserialize it. It is difficult to exploit the applications through this vulnerability, but a successful amount could see all the attacks that we are discussing, like all the vulnerabilities, has some sort of a challenges to exploit it. But the only thing is like if we have very minimal, for example, if you don't have a password complexity in place, then the hacker can able to easily get the passwords, because if there are 100 students, there will be one or two students, or even more than like a 20% of them may be having a weak password. They can have their date of birth, they can have their names, they can have their the the most used familiar names, or some month name. So even you guys might have used some of the your date of year or date of month as part of your email IDs or your passwords. So hackers might very well know the psychological behind this having this passwords, and he can try with this random passwords, and he can able to succeed in this particular thing. So when he is successful, then it can attacker can able to implement the denial of service attack by bypassing the authentication, etc. So if he is bypassing this insecure deserialization vulnerability, he can able to implement the denial of service attack. So denial of service attack, you know very well know that we discussed on this that booking the tactical tickets. Whenever you try to access a particular website which has lot of traffic, then you will not be able to perform the transaction. So let's understand the attacker's motive and its procedure for the attack. So the motive behind this particular vulnerability, so attack on this particular vulnerability can be to alter the database. So database is the place where all your data is getting stored, like your sensitive data can be stored. So he can change the what is there in the database, or to get the access to the unauthorized privileges. So we discussed, right, like he might be privileged only to access the, like as a student he might be able to access only the your attendance and your marks, but unauthorized, if he trying to access like different, if he wants to see his friend's mark or attendance or any other, if you want to alter the message, your marks or your attendance percentage, he can able to perform. That is the elevated privileges that is there, like modifying something or viewing of uh, some data that is not he authorized to. All these things are results of unauthorized privileges, and he can also cause the denial of access, data access. So he can deny access. So your HOD might have given access to view all your like till first year to final year data, attendance or mark data, but he can try to deny that particular access. Or your exam coordinator might have given access to edit the marks. As a he might be entering as a student, which is the least privileges, and he can able to do. Similar way, the organization also, they can able to do. They can enter into as as a employee, and he can get the data where the like your upper management, we call it as like a CIO, CXO, CEO has a he, CEO might have a great privileges. He might able to get into those data which is he is not authorized to, or he can deny the data, so deny the access of the data where the CEO can able to access to. He can also execute the remote code. So these are the different malicious activities that a attacker can perform when he is trying to attack get exploit this particular vulnerability. And procedure of this attacker is, attacker puts the untrusted input, which gets the deserialized and results in the exploitation of this application. The other vulnerability can also lead to the exploitation of the application through deserialization. So we have been discussing like multiple vulnerabilities. There might be a case that one vulnerability can lead to the other vulnerabilities as well. Like if there are like multiple vulnerabilities that is there within the if there are multiple vulnerabilities that is there within the application, then the hacker might try to use all the vulnerabilities that is there in the application and try to get the desired results that he wants to. So now we'll take an example of a game. So I guess you guys have played multiple games in mobile phones or the laptops. So when the game is finished, it hits the server to log and retrieve the high scores. So it sends an object by using the process of serialization. So getting the results once your game is finished is done through the serialization technique. So let's suppose the object takes the following inputs. The username is Alex and the time taken for him to complete the game is 45 minutes and the score he obtained is 4445. So after serialization, it gets converted to the following format. So this is the format that is being sent to the server in the serialization technique. Now it will get all the high scores of the users. To retrieve the high scores from the server, deserialization process is used. Let's suppose application is using the SQL query. So whenever you might be sending the data to the server and from the server it might be using the SQL query to retrieve the information from the database server. So there is an application server and the database server. So to hit into the database server, they can able to use the SQL queries. So if you see here, select score from high score, where username is in the quotation we have game dot username. So from the game dot username, what is the data that is being retrieved is sent to the database. So the attacker could insert a SQL injection payload directly into serialized object as following code. So either he can able to send like we discussed about the single quotes or 1 comma 1 equal to single apostrophe 1. So this is the example for sending the SQL injection payload. So if you give this particular payload, your you can able to attack the some vulnerable websites. And the server will deserialize the data. Then it can be used as object and it will take the username as injected as a input to retrieve the irrelevant data. Let's see the other risk associated with the. So if you're not having any input validation or if a hacker can able to send this particular payload is nothing but the data that is being sent as a SQL injection payload like or apostrophe 1 comma equal to apostrophe 1. This is like a key that is being sent as a injection payload. He can able to retrieve all the information that is there in the database. So the risk associated with this are the data being from the server can be extracted. Other attacks can also be executed through this insecure deserialization vulnerability, and unauthorized access can be performed. So not validating the user input is a main uh, issue you would have seen in other vulnerabilities as well. You need to have a proper validation of the input and not monitoring the deserialization process. how the deserialization is being sent, are we getting valid input from the user or not, and giving the highest privileges environment while deserialization. So these are the root causes for this particular vulnerability. What are the mitigation strategies? Data tampering should be prevented by implementing integrity checks such as digital signatures. So integrity is something, uh, if like we would have discussed this particular integrity principle as part of the CAA triad principle, that is information security concepts. So integrity is nothing but you should not allow someone unauthorized user to change or modify the data that is being present. So for example, like you have a Aadhaar card number in a student database. If someone enters and changes it, we call that as a integrity principle is being compromised. That means authorized user is not allowed. Someone who is unauthorized entered into the database and he could able to modify the data and he can move out without any issues. So data tampering is nothing but modifying those data. Tampering is altering the data. So if that is being done, then there is no proper integrity, and these are done through the digital signatures. So we have a digital signatures that itself is a separate topic. If you're interested, you can able to like browse what is digital signatures and you can get knowledge about it. So those digital signatures will help to uh, mitigate this particular problem. Strict type constraints must be enforced during the serialization before the object creation. So whenever the object is created, what type it is being created should be, there should be strict constraint on it. Low privilege environments must be provided while running the code which is used for deserialization. So where this particular code runs, so those environments should be provided with the low privileges. It should not be run at the admin level privileges or the root access user access privileges. It should be running in the low privilege environment. Log serialization exceptions and failures, such as where the incoming type is not expected type. So in the previous example we saw, rather than getting a Alex as a input, we got some SQL payload, injection payload as a input. So if you're getting those type of input, we need to have the logging mechanism enabled for those exceptions and failures. So exception will be thrown only if you're capturing that particular exception and then you're logging it in a separate file. So restricting or monitoring the incoming and outgoing network connectivity from the containers or the servers that deserializes. Monitoring the deserialization, altering if the user deserializes constantly. So if someone is alerting, sorry, if he is deserializing constantly, then there should be some alerting mechanisms that needs to be done. So these are some of the mitigation strategies that we have for the insecure deserialization vulnerability. So just a recap of what we have discussed on A8. I'll just pause it so that you can read through this. Like whatever we discussed so far is coming as a summary of this particular vulnerability. So if you see here, like the actual output that should be coming from the game once the game is finished is like we should able to get this particular format. Alex is getting the scores, whatever the highest past five highest scores he has to retrieve, get that as part of the serialization technique. So on the left hand side, if you see on the left hand side, it's a object format is being sent to the byte stream through the servers. So if you see here, we have a select score and time taken from the high score. High score is the table name and score and time taken are the column names from the high score table. And we are having the constraint where the username equal to the user the game dot username. So whatever the username that we are getting from the application or the from the game server, we are putting them in the this particular as a SQL query as a username. So in this particular case, we are sending the Alex as the username. So the query is getting changed from the game dot username to Alex. So if you see here, rather than sending Alex, we are sending the hacker is sending the some SQL injection payload. So if you see here, the correct format is we need to get the high scores of a Alex in this particular format. But using the injection payload here, it's getting the high scores of the all the users, which is not a desired output. So these are some of the root causes for this particular vulnerability. So the mitigation strategy, it's a data tampering should be prevented by implementing the integrity checks, low privileged environments. So whatever we have discussed so far. So the next topic is A9, that is using the components with the known vulnerabilities. We look into this particular table. Now we are into A9, that is using components with the known vulnerabilities. See, the components can be libraries, frameworks, or software modules. Almost always run with the full privileges if a vulnerable component is exploited. So we already know there is a vulnerability in this particular library or a framework. Still, there are companies that uses it for developing their software codes. So they have the vulnerability and they have the full privileges to the systems or the data, and the organization still using the vulnerable component in the development environment. So if the vulnerable component is exploited, it can facilitate the attacker in performing the series of data loss activity, or it can take over of the server. So you can browse CVSS, which is Common Vulnerability Scoring System. That is the or that will give the what are the vulnerabilities that is present at this particular scenario, at this moment in this world. Like I can show you. Just Google. You can Google CVE or CVSS, which is Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. See, this particular record has close to 2,40,830 vulnerabilities. So, so if you want to search on the particular vulnerability, you can able to do that. So this is the searching the CVE list. There will be some year-wise CVSs as well. So there, if you browse through this one, there is a channel like you can able to get a year-wise CVE as well. So there it has the list of all the vulnerabilities that is for the library or framework or the software modules that you're using. You can able to see that particular list from there. So if you type like for example Microsoft Outlook or Microsoft Word, All the vulnerabilities related to Microsoft Word might be listed over there. So some of the motives of the net attack are to exploit the full range of possible weaknesses, including injection, broken authentication access, any any vulnerability that is being part of it be is being attacked to access the range from minimal to complete host takeover and data compromise, to design a sophisticated malware by using the component vulnerability for targeting a specific organization. So they can do a targeted attack on a particular organization by making use of sophisticated malwares to exploit those vulnerabilities and to run the components with the full privilege and exploit the flaws in the components. So the components are nothing but the services or the softwares or library or framework. So altogether they are calling as a general term components. So to get into the maximum privilege that they can able to exploit through this particular vulnerability. So the attacker identifies a weak component through scanning or manual analysis, and he customizes the exploit as needed and executes the attack. It gets more difficult if the used component is deep in the application. So if a vulnerable component is being used in the most of the when developing the most of the part in the application, then he can able to attack it very in a severe manner. So the attacker can use the components from the framework and libraries that has a known vulnerabilities. Attacker can exploit the framework and the software code which is not up to date. So always, I think I have quoted this example as well. So we need to have all the operating system or uh, your mobile applications to up to date. You might be seeing like for example in your mobile you might be seeing there is a new update available, Android update is available, and there might be some updates for the each application as well. So whenever you see a update, you have to go for it because the update will have some mitigations or some patching for the security or vulnerability that is being seen in the application. So always you have to have the updated version in order to ensure that the maximum security is maintained. And component dependency make these even worse. Most development teams do not focus on ensuring their components libraries are up to date. In many cases, developers don't even know all the components that they are using, never mind their versions. So they don't worry about the versions. They only look into the what is the functionality that is there. So we talked about that CV, right? I showed you a website where there is a CVD. So if you go here, like I think nvd.nist.co, yeah, to that nvd.nist. So if you see here, NVD is the US government repository of standards for the vulnerabilities. So if you look, To this, you can have the date-based vulnerability. So what has been identified in the 2018 January? What is there in the 2017 January? And if you click on each CVEs, you can able to see it's a unique number for specific vulnerability. So let's see what is there, the latest. This is a national vulnerability database. So if you see, you can in this particular website, you can see all the latest vulnerabilities. So if you see on July 30th, we have the vulnerability identified. So if you can search on the particular application vulnerabilities, other things related to a particular product related vulnerabilities, all these things can be obtained in this particular database. So you can also generate a report from this particular tricks. Sorry, if I want to see all last 2 months or last 3 months, if I want to get all the vulnerabilities related to Microsoft, I can also do that. Click on particular product or a search keyword and try to see what are the vulnerabilities related to that. You can browse this particular website to understand the nvd.nist.gov. So this is how it looks. If you click, what is the description, what is the source, from there the vulnerability, and what is the impact level of this vulnerability. So what are the countermeasures to control this attack due to the components of the known vulnerabilities? You need to keep components up to date and always use the latest version of the open source projects and the new versions, because the vulnerabilities of the previous version are fixed. And use the security policy, establish the security policy in using the components with the appropriate best practices followed during the development, and monitor the security of the components in public database, project mail list, and security mailing list, and keep them up to date. So these are the some of the mitigation strategies for this particular vulnerability using components with the known vulnerabilities. So we can stop this particular topic. Now, Naeem will give uh, his inputs with respect to the project, continuation of what we discussed last class. Naeem, are you there?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, Naeem, but I'm hearing some background noise.
Just a minute.
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah,
I'll give you the presenter link, please.
I'm not having the access. Like,
Can you check now? I'll just give it.
yeah, yeah, fine. Yes, good morning to all. So, yesterday we saw about that Cisco packet tracer. We can organize the LAN architecture. Then, after that, we implement the routers. Okay. So, now we are going to see about in the switches. Okay, managed switches. Why we need a managed switches means you already know about the security related process, which means if you want to organize the networking related process within the LAN or any other networks, you must specify the network address process and the grouping process, and you have to configure the encryption process like that. Okay. So you need to configure these are all the things which are already available in Cisco Packetizer. You can easily work it. So for if you go with the capstone project, you can easily architect the structure with the help of servers, and you can easily do the things with the commands. Okay. So in this practical session, you can check the commands only. Okay. You can give the commands and get the output result. So these are all the things you needed. Okay. You can focus for that particular thing only. So I already give to you the link, which means you can download the Cisco packet from that particular link. Okay, you can easily access. It's a freeware. Okay, you can easily access. You can easily architect. So that's why I'm saying. So now I want to present my screen, so we can go with the practical process. Yesterday we done lot of commands. Okay, so I just recap the sum of the little bit commands because that is very important for if we are checking the analysis process like auditing process Like vulnerability analysis, we can need these are all the commands. Okay, because in cybersecurity terms, you can work with the internet only, not a local within an intranet structure, which means within some within 10 machines. Okay, the cyber means you can act like with the help of internet. Okay, without the internet term, you couldn't reach out the process. Okay, so we want to secure the information for the purpose of communicating with the globalized process. Okay, so that's why I want to tell the thing. So before, you have to know about the clear about the commands. So these commands, you can get the output of particular machine's result. Okay, if you have like 10 to 20 machines or 100 machines or 200 machines in any other category, you can easily visualize the particular machine's informations. Okay, you can get the IP address and check the IP address. So where the process which will be happened like that. Okay, so I want to tell and one more thing. We saw about the yesterday thing is ping command. Okay, you already know the ping command. So the ping command, you can reach out the particular machine. Okay, particular destination machine, you can reach out. So you can call the particular machine, whether he is available or not, it will result you with the commands. If the command which executes a reply, that machine is already available. Suppose if the machine is not available, you can get a result like request timed out, destination host unreachable, like that. Okay, this is a method. While if you are using the application server, okay, you can take an example like the application server. Okay, so server is very needed thing in your environment. Okay, while it is a cloud server or your local data center, any other category you can take it. Okay, so this step is very mainly used to connect the peoples, okay, end users. That particular application server, if you want to check the particular server process related thing, you just initially give the ping command, which means whether it is available or not. But you can access the application server. The particular application should run with this your machine. Okay, but you need to check the particular server means you have to ping the server. You need with the help of ping command. Well, you reach the server, it gives you a result like I am available, like it's reply to you. Sometimes it gets request timed out, it's not reachable like that. In case if you get request timed out without a destination host unreachable, if you get only request timed out, it will already block the particular pinging response thing. Okay, pinging response thing. The ping, you should follow the protocol which is ICMP protocol, Internet Control Management Protocol. Okay, you should aware about that particular protocol. Why I am saying this type of protocol means you can block the particular code in that particular server. So that's when I want to say the things. Because you can access the application server, you can exchange the information, you can do it any kind of activity, you can do it. But if you want to reach out the server with the help of ping command, you you get some results like request type of, but you can reach out with the help of application process. So this is a result for security
Naeem,
purpose.
sorry to disturb you. Are you sharing any screen? I am not able to
No, no,
see.
no, no, just I want to give the overview. Okay, the just now I want to share this.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. Okay.
Okay. So why I am saying this thing, which means if you access the application related process, you can get an result. Okay. If you don't get any IP, if you not reach anything, it will block like that. Okay. For example, I want to give some examples. So you already go with the CMD command prompt. You can ping www.google.com. Okay. So if you give the ping command, it results you like replying from the particular IP address. Okay. This is the result. Okay, ma'am. So if suppose it will not request, it will not give you the result means it gives you like request time down. Yeah, request time down. Like I already connected with the default gateway, so it shows you the thing. Okay. So before doing this one, you should know about the IP address details from your network. Okay. You can because I don't know what are all the IP address which will be available in my LAN network. Okay, so that that type of cases I can use with the help of IP address scanner. Okay, I can use that one. I just go with Chrome, download advanced IP scanner. You can use it. So here this advanced IP scanner you can replace it. Okay, free download. You can use a free download. So remote desktop softwares, connect remote computers. It shows you all of the things. Okay. Here the package is downloaded. I can run the things. So run advanced IP scanner. Okay. So why I am it show why I want to download this advanced IP scanner means I can scan my network. Okay, if I am in 192.168.1.1 series, it can show all the IP address from 1 to 254 address. Okay, you can scan it now. It gives you the result. Okay, see this result. So it shows me the 1.1 as Airtel fiber. Okay, Airtel fiber net. Then second one is 9, like it's my computer or any other device. Okay, then it shows your desktop name. Okay, after that the 1.7, 1.8 also available. So these are all the things which shows for my network. Okay, well, if I connect with the Airtel fiber modem, it shows me the results like what are all the machines connect with my modem. Okay, you can use yourself also. If you have any machine, any laptop with the support of hotspot, you can check it. Okay, it will result you like what are all the devices connected in your own network. Okay. See, these are all the devices connected through this network. You can open it. Sometimes it will open up. Okay. So it asks username and password. Okay. So I want to ping these machines. Okay. You can check it now. 19.168. Before checking this process, you already know about the machine IP address. So how do you check the machine IP with the help of IP config? Okay, you can check the IP config. This is the command. So you should know your machine IP. Okay, this is a 1.5. Then I want to communicate with 1.6 because 1.5 is this machine IP. I can connect with 1.6. It shows me the communication. Okay, right. So the 1.6 you can check here itself hyphen B transfer. Okay, so it shows you the reply communication, all the final transmit things. Okay, then I need to check whether if I block the firewall. Okay, note it clearly. If I block the firewall, how the reply communication will come. Okay, so I will show you just a moment. Before that, I want to access another machine. Okay, it would be helpful for you. Okay, I will check with. I can run and access the this MSC communication, MSTSC communication. I can access the remote machine. Okay, so there is nothing to worry. But if I ping the address means 19.168.1.5, this is my machine IP. Okay, if I want to block the ping configuration, you can go with the firewall settings. Okay, you can go with the firewall.cp. You can see here what is the command. Can you see here? Firewall.cpl. You can use it. Firewall.cpl. You can go with the firewall.cpl. It shows you the advanced settings. You can go with inbound rules. This is the inbound rule. Okay. You can go with the firewall block related things, which will be applied from file and printer sharing. Okay, file and printer sharing ICMP version 4. I already informed that ICMP version 4. ICMP version 4 means you can use Internet Control Management Protocol, right? Okay. So here itself, okay. So this because I can ping myself only. Okay, myself is my machine only. So if you want to block the ping configurations, you should disable these settings. Okay, you can disable the settings. it's already enabled because the end user can access the things. Okay. If suppose I have another machine, or otherwise I can do with Cisco packet tracer, you can get an idea. So this is a base physical machine. So in this physical machine, you can go with a firewall.cpl. Okay, don't forget to do it. Okay, firewall.cpl, because this is one type of security purpose. Okay, the particular machine will be available in that particular network only. But if any other people reach out the machine with the help of commands, it couldn't reach. Okay, it can't reach because we block the ICMP protocol list. So this is the thing. If you disable this setting, it will automatically block. If anyone ping the particular destination machine, it will not avail. Okay. So for the security reasons, they can implemented some data centers. Okay. So that's why I want to say here. We go with the packet tracer. So this is another tool. You can trace the IP address because someone ask like how to identify the IP address in my area network. So how I allocate these things? You can use this type of tool. You can easily find out the IP address in your area. Okay, so you can install in your laptop also. If you connect with the Wi-Fi network, you can see what are all the IP address available in your network. Okay, you can try it. Then I want to show the packet tracer. Okay, so then we can go and work with the simulation process. I want to work with the switches. You can implement the switch here. 2960. Now I want to change the switch because yesterday you configured the 2950. I think so, right? 2950. Okay. So this is the managed switch. This switch is unmanaged switch. You can just plug in and work out. But here you have to define the networks. Okay. If you are not given the network process for grouping, like if you are having HR sales, support team, development team, production team, like that, you should provide the team members. We make grouping system. Okay, the VLAN concept is you can make the grouping system. It's an another security process because lot of network, which means LAN segment. Some of the company uses like normal switches, like unmanaged switches. Okay, so in this unmanaged switches, you couldn't work out the process, which means you can just plug in and you can easily connect with the network. Okay, there is no guideline, there is no high availability process, there is no port security. So much of process here it will be played. Like if you give the without the IP address, it can work like the automatic APIPA IP address. Okay, but we have to set the DHCP mode, which means you have to set the IP address. Okay, you don't want to set the IP address for manual things manually, like for each and every machine. You can make the IP address. You can generate the IP address with the help of DHCP mode. Okay, but in unmanaged switches, it will not do anything. It will automatically connect with each other, so you cannot secure the particular network. Okay, so that's why we can use the virtual local area network, which means managed switches. Okay, we understand it. So the main difference is managed switch you can make up for security, high availability, quality of service, stability like that. In unmanaged switch, they can connect anyone. Okay, so without the network identification, it will connect. Okay, so there is no idea about that particular thing. It will reach out all the ports. It will reach out the all the ports, which means it will communicate with each other. It will reach out the all the ports. But the main thing is the MAC table, like otherwise called a CAN table. Okay, MAC table, CAN table. Just you note it down. After that, you can get an idea. Just note it down, MAC table and CAN table. Okay, fine. So here I given the switch like managed switches. Here itself I can give the suppose. Okay. Here itself you can give the core switch, and after that you can give that PC. Okay, PC. So this core switch, which considered as a managed switch, there is a main thing. Okay. The core switch is considered as a managed switch. Okay. In this managed switch, I want to create the VLANs, which means virtual local area network. The virtual local area network, which starts from the range address 2. Okay. This is the address range. You can start from 2. You can't use the 1 because by default it will have some default ports. 1 VLAN 1. Okay. Then after that you can give the VLAN 2 number and address range. I just give the name. Okay. Sales. Then you can specify the network. You want to specify the network, you can easily do it. So just here you can give the name and VLAN name and name. Okay. After that, you can use VLAN 3 name dev. Okay, VLAN 2 and VLAN 3. So here you can have the connections. Okay. So this connection, the main thing is straight through cable. Okay, you already know about the straight through cable. You connect it first and second. That and fourth. Okay. Okay. So here itself, you completed the name process. After that, we should specify the IP address. Okay, here itself you can give the IP address for the port security related things. You can give the IP address here itself. You can give it, but If you configure the VLAN means you should give the address range. You already know about the IP address range. Yesterday I give the IP address range. If you have any doubts, I can give you the just quick recap. So here the IP address you can use class C address. Okay. Now we are using only class C address. You don't. You can view. You can reach the A and B after the class completes. Okay. So now we can use only class C address for LAN purpose. Okay, local area network purpose. You can use. So this LAN purpose which will be available in every public sector company, every private sector company, each and every colleges. Okay, if you join any company, you will have a local LAN. Okay, LAN, which is called a LAN. If you have a department, you can split up the LAN. Okay, so you can take the range address means 192 to 223 is the range of IP address. So I want to give the range of IP address starting from 168, 190.168. You can start from 0.0. Okay, it's a network ID. You can't use the IP address to the particular machine. Okay, you can use 0.1. This is the IP address. You can use the each and every machine. Okay, you can use the each and every machine for the purpose of communication. So 254. You can come across with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You can go with the from 1 to 254 IP address. So in some of the uh, someone asked like that for each network, how many systems you can connect it. Okay, for each network, how many machines or how many devices can you connect it. Okay, so you can simply answer. The answer is 1 to 254 IP address. Okay, you can connect the devices within 1 to 254 IP address. But totally, you will have the address range is 256. Okay, this is very important. Okay, because while if you join in any security analyst team, okay, security analyst team, okay, cyber security analyst team, like it has some different categories. Okay, analyst level, then you should know about how the IP address framing. Okay, without the IP address knowledge, you couldn't do anything. So that's why I want to give you the instruction about this IP address. Well, if you are configuring the server, if you get the application web application vulnerability tool. Okay, if you are using the web application vulnerability process, the particular web application, the particular web server which comes around from this IP address only. Okay, so don't forget to uh, uh, reach the IP address. Okay, because if you have any domain name, okay, you already know about the domain name. Domain name is, you can take an example from www.google.com. That is called a domain name. Okay, if you want to reach out particular domain name, it will be replicated to IP address, which means it will be translated into IP address. Okay, so that is an important thing. If you want to reach out the machine, you can easily reach out the process. Okay, just step in. Yeah, I'm back. So, just you can see these IP address. Okay, can you hear me? Right. So here itself, I can give the 254 IP address. Okay, then so this is the first network address range. We can go with last network ID, which is called a 255. It's a broadcast address. Okay, that's it. You can take this is the starting process. You can go with 1, 2. Here you can change whatever it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with from 0 to you can use 255. Okay, so that's your choice. You can take any network ID here. Okay, I take like 192.168.1.1 IP address. Okay, 192.168.1.2. Okay, so this is the IP address 1.1, 1.2. Okay, so then I want to, so I just put the address range here. Okay, 1.0 network. Okay, you can give the 1.0 network ID. That's you can find out here. Okay, this is first network. Okay, you can imagine like that. Okay. Then another thing is here you can use network ID to you can use desktop or you can give the address range 192.168.2.1. Here you can give the address range 19.168.2.2, right? You can use it. So here you can give 1.1, 1.2. Here you can give 2.1 and 2.2. That's it. You just mention here the IP address 68.2.0. Okay. After the process completes, you can go and configure the switch here. You can use the switch and you can configure it. Okay. So because the Cisco products which will be higher security, okay, you can use here. So because if you are strong with network like that, you can sort out the you can easily reduce the incidents. Okay, you can reduce the incidents only. So that is a important thing. I want to configure the things. You can use en. En means enable the command. Okay. Then you can configure enable secret. Uh, Configure P. So just you configure the terminal. After that, you can give it. Okay. So this enable command you can give the privileged mode. Okay. So configure terminal means you can use configuration, which is a globalized configuration. You can use it. Okay. So here you can use configure terminal. After that, you need to configure the VLAN concepts, right? So you should configure this thing, VLAN configurations. Name, it's VLAN to name sales. Okay. So this is the grouping process. Okay. So you already see in a lot of networks. Okay. This is the managed switch which will be available for access level. Okay, access layer. But this is a core switch also. If you configure this core switch for the VLAN process, you can easily go around with the securing process. Okay, there is a main thing. And, okay, then- so you need to configure the VLAN with the help of commands. You already connect the device for two ports. Okay, you can see the port number here. Fast Ethernet 01, fast Ethernet 02. Okay, you just aware about this port number. Fast Ethernet 1, 2. You can make the note now. Interface range fast Ethernet 01 to 2. Okay, so we can configure the port, switch port, mode access. Okay, these are all the commands. So you should know about this command. So why we using the command? Because the commands related thing for the securing the process, you can organize the network as grouping. Okay, group means these are all the first network group. These are all the second network group. These are all the third network group. Okay. If you separate the network means it will not reach any kind of actions. Okay, it will not reach out. While if you are a sales team, you couldn't contact with the dev team. Okay, if you are in a sales team, if you want to ask something like that to dev team, he will not he will not communicate with each other. Okay, that is the main thing. But unmanaged switch, you can connect with each other because there is no policy. Okay, there is no any policy. You can contact with each other. If you share anything, he can easily access. You can if development team share anything in this particular area, if the persons who are all connected with the particular switch, they can easily access uh, their file. Okay, whatever it is, he can easily get the data. Okay, then so that's why we are using the things here. Okay. Switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 2. Okay. Interface range fast Ethernet 01 to 2. You can use switchboard mode access, switchboard access VLAN. That's it. Okay. And after that, you can go and check the what is the configuration you have done it. Okay. VLAN. That's it. So this is the internal thing. You can done with second sales activate the Ethernet. So that's it. Okay. So now I want to open the particular desktop PC. You can see this firewall. Okay. Here you have a firewall. You can check the action allow deny action. Okay. Allow deny actions protocol, which will be want to deny the actions. Okay. I want to set like before doing this one, I go and check with the particular machine. This is 1.1. This machine is 1.2. Okay. I want to ping the IP address 190.168.1.1. Okay. This is the base machine IP address is 1.1. The second PC machine is 1.2. Okay. The 1.2 IP address is pinging now. 19.168.1.2. Okay. So now I want to go with second PC. Here you can have the firewall. You can just open the firewall, and here the action is denying. I can add the protocol as ICMP. You already know about this thing. Okay. Here I can save the services as on. Okay, it's already off. I just on. I just give the on. Okay. You can go and check here. You just go and here. It's not clearly activated. So I can give the IP address 168.1.1. Okay. Subnet mask 258.258.258. Okay, wild password. I just give the IP address range. Okay, 1.1 IP, but it will take the network related things. Okay. So the action is deny. ICMP protocol is deny. You can see here. You can see here. See here. But your second machine is available. But you can see the second machine is available. While I am giving the firewall related things, it shows me the if I am giving the deny process, it will not access here. You can see here. So this is the output. So this is the output. What I expect here is this one. You already that particular server also available in network, but you can't reach out. So this is the one biggest thing, very challenging thing. Okay, if you disable the ICMP control, you will not ping any other thing. Okay, you will not ping, you will not communicate with each other. So that is the important thing we have to follow here. Okay, can you understand it? Or otherwise I can repeat it. Okay, so then you can reach out clearly. So just I remove this one. So I just configure the VLAN concept. Okay, so the VLAN which I want to grouping the network. Okay, because this is another network. This is also another network. Okay, so this will not sales will not connect with dev. This is the first use case. And another one is I want to try to say like if I ping the second machine, it will not respond. So that is my use case too. Okay, so that if I want to access the particular server, you can take an any example. Here you can see this is a machine, this is a PC, this is a PC, but in real time industry you can consider as a server. Okay, so if the particular server will not reach out outside, but it is in public network only. Okay, it is in public network only, which means you can imagine like www.google.com. Okay, you can imagine like www.google.com or any other service.com. Okay, so in technical terms, in security terms, security analyst related process, we can make the server will not reach out outside, but the end user can access the information like application server means in this application server he can access the application related only. Okay, he can't connect any other commands related thing. Okay, he can't reach out the particular server. That is a important thing. Okay, if I want to make that particular thing means I want to block the firewall. So if I want to try to block the firewall means you can do it in your system firewall, which means in your OS related thing. Okay, not in network firewall. You can use it system firewall also, OS firewall also. Okay, so that's why I want to give the output for particular thing. Well, I want to open the first system. I want to ping it. Second mission, I want to ping it. Okay, I can give the command ping hyphen t transmit dot one dot two. Okay, it's replaying. That's it. Gives me the output. Then second machine. This is the my another machine. Okay, you can consider as a server. This outside people or inside people, no one ping the server. If anyone pings the server, it will not get the output. Okay, these are all the analyzing reports. Okay, you don't want to give the that type of loophole also. So I can give like using the firewall settings. Okay, in this firewall settings, you can make deny. You can make deny. Here you can give the ICMP protocol. In this remote IP, you can give the network address. It will automatically change the network ID. So that is not an issue. You can reserve the subnet mask. Okay, like you can give 0.255.255.25. sorry, 0.0.0. This is a wildcard mask. Okay, you can reserve it. So I add it, and here I can, it shows off. I can on the service. Okay, then you can go with the things. Already it shows me the request timed out, and again it will come back. So it will not clearly save. Okay, because I off it, so that's why it will not save the name and ICMP protocol. You can give remote IP 190.168.1.1, and you can give the remote wildcard mask 255 and add it. That's it. Okay, you can close it and open the particular machine command prompt. It shows you the request type. See here. Okay, this is the method you can done for the security purpose. The security term is you could not reach the particular server. Whether it is a database server or any other server, you can't reach out. Okay, while it is in public network. Okay, note the point. While it is in public network, while it is in private network, there is no issue. Okay. However, if you give the ping command or any other command, it will not show anything. Okay, so that is important. Okay, anything else? Do you have any questions? Can share with the Q&A session. Do you have any questions? You can ask me. Do you have any questions? You can ask me. You can send the queries here. Do you have any questions? You can ask me. Okay, we are done this session. Okay, we have done the session with the practical guideline. So I already yesterday I shared the Cisco packet tracer link. Okay, so you try to make download the Cisco packet tracer. You can just download it. I can show you the screen. You can just download it. Like here, you can use the download Cisco packet tracer for any other thing. You can use it. Okay. Here it shows a first link. You can open the first tab. Okay. You go and check, and here itself you can click this first version. Okay. You can try to do it. Okay. So we are done with the session. So do you have any queries? You can send Q&A session. Okay. Okay. The team members will inform user. Okay. So the Infosys will log issues. Okay, we are done with the session.
Okay, so if you are done, you can wind up. We can wind up. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, fine.
Yeah. So we can wind up for the day. Thank you so much, Arvind and Naeem, for the sessions. Thank you, everyone.